Mara's exo-gloved fingers scrape cold gray sand when suddenly a hulking armored hand slams a sword into her palm. The blade's edge pulses with ancient runes, humming with power that vibrates through her arm bone and nerve. She startles, eyes wide, as the stark weight of something older than memory settles between her fingers amidst the harsh winds of the jagged expanse. Mara tests the sword's balance, feeling its weight shift like a living thing that knows her name. The runes etched along the steel shimmer and ripple beneath her gaze, humming with a power older than starlight itself. It is no ordinary weapon. It is a relic predating the Void era, a keeper of forgotten cosmic pacts, now whispering secrets only she can hear. The armored stranger's voice cuts sharp through the howl of the storm. Protect it, or let the Void claim you. Each word is a command, final and urgent, riding the wind like a blade. Mara blinks up at the silhouette framed against the rippling dune crest, the stranger's presence more shadow than flesh, binding her fate in a single, grave edict. Before Mara can ask a single question, the stranger steps into a patch of shimmering starless energy, a rift of shifting blackness that swallows him whole. The void rift flickers unstable, its edges folding in on themselves, as if consuming time and space. Mara's breath catches in disbelief. Reality fractures around her as the figure dissolves like a mirage into the abyss. Behind Mara, Scavbots halt mid-patrol, their optic sensors glitching and blinking erratically as they attempt to decode the sword's alien runes. Mechanical limbs twitch, then freeze entirely in a stuttering reboot cycle. Their AI logic loops, designed for simple salvage tasks, collapse under the weight of pre-galactic script encoded in the blade. Sparks flicker from joint servos, technology baffled by an arcane power beyond circuitry. Mara's heartbeat drums louder than the expanse's raging storm. She exhales sharply, voice trembling but laced with defiant humor. Great. Now I'm cosmic heir to a mystery. Her grin is half dread, half fierce resolve. Gripping the hilt tight, she stares out over the swirling dunes, realizing that destiny has been thrust upon her, chosen not given, and there is no turning back now. The void shimmer fades slowly, leaving Mara alone atop the dune crest as the first pale light of dawn brushes the horizon. The blade hums softly in her palm, a gentle guide toward the coming day. Around her, the gray expanse quiets beneath the growing sun, a stark canvas for the new chapter about to unfold, a solitary journey with a weight of stars on her shoulders. Clutching the ancient sword like a talisman, Mara realizes two truths. She holds the weight of destiny, and she is utterly alone. The endless horizon beckons, dark and uncertain, a path none but she can walk. Isolation sharpens her resolve. The crucible of solitude will forge her strength. Whatever awaits beyond the dunes, Mara will face it as the reluctant heir to cosmic mystery. On the harsh frontier world of Neris 4, the mining guild taxes life itself. Miners swipe oxygen credits to breathe, tap water units for every gulp, and even pay friction fees to step forward. Failure means harsh fines or brutal labor sentences. The weight of debt crushes spirits beneath rusted helmets, as every breath and step costs more than survival. The guild's grip strangles freedom, turning miners into walking ledgers of debt. CLR security drones glide silently above slag fields, their tri-spectrum biotech scanners scanning exogloves and gear for unregistered tech. Any anomaly triggers mechanical clamps or instant arrest. Mara flinches as a crimson beam slices across her path. Its cold were a reminder that freedom is a myth under the guild's watch. No tool or token escapes their gaze, and even the smallest glitch invites swift, merciless punishment. Flickering above battered ash barrels, a cracked hollow banner repeats its grim decree. Turn in PRE Exodus artifacts, heavy fines imposed. The demand crushes whispered hopes that these relics, remnants of lost eras, still hold forbidden power. The sputtering projector casts sharp flashes of light on gaunt faces, silencing curiosity beneath the weight of fear and the guild's relentless control. Mara ducks beneath a corroded shuttle frame and mutters with ironic humor. What now? These dunes never let history stay buried. Her laughter veils dread. Ancient secrets refuse to rest beneath the endless dust. Each step unearths fragments of forbidden pasts, and the ground itself seems to resist the guild's efforts to erase memory and power. Oxide-caked foreman bark orders through torchlit haze, their gaunt faces etched with exhaustion and submission. They genuflect before flickering credit displays, the sacred altars dictating life or death. Every pause in work costs credits. Every second lost edges workers closer to indenture. In this harsh economy, compliance is worship, and numbers control destinies beneath the oppressive guild shadow. At Mara's belt, the ancient sword pulses defiantly, its runes blazing bright enough to disrupt CLR drone encryption. As drones approach, their sensors glitch and spark, unable to decipher the millennia-old script etched into the blade's edge. This relic, a power too ancient to be controlled, radiates rebellion. It stands as a silent challenge to the guild's iron grip, promising change beneath the arid sky. Overhead, the mag rail hums relentlessly as heavy convoy trains rumble past. Each railcar bears the guild's iron handshake, a seal binding every outpost, every mine, and every soul to corporate will. The steel tether snakes across the frontier, a harsh reminder that freedom is confined to tracks and schedules. Mara's clenched fists tighten as the rhythmic grinding wheels echo her growing defiance. Calls for aid swallowed by CLR comm scrubbers vanish into static. No one can know Mara carries the blade capable of shattering the guild's dominion. Yet beneath the distant drones whir, a fierce challenge stirs in her heart. Break the system or be broken by it. The desert wind picks up, swirling runic sparks around her as she pauses, ready to ignite the first spark of rebellion against relentless control. Mara retreats beneath the hollowed spire of a long-abandoned CLR communications tower, its rusted galleries draped with scavenged tapestries that mask scanner frequencies. The hideout is a cavernous refuge of cracked stone and metal, lit by flickering lanterns that cast dancing shadows across stacked cred crates and makeshift weapon racks. Here, silence reigns, broken only by the hum of distant patrols outside. Within this precarious sanctuary, Mara examines the ancient sword under the sputtering glow. Each rune pulses softly, syncing with her heartbeat. She murmurs with dry humor. "All right, ancient murder stick, teach me your secrets," signaling the beginning of a bond forged in defiance and necessity. Under the sputtering lantern light, Mara studies the blade's enigmatic runes, watching as each symbol pulses rhythmically with her heartbeat. Alive, responsive, almost sentient. Whispering her challenge, she calls out, "Teach me your secrets." The sword responds with an ethereal blue glow that fills the shadows, illuminating the chamber with ancient power. These runes, relics of a forgotten pre-Exodus era, hold kinetic memory encoded in crystalline circuits that sync with the wielder's biometrics. Mara feels an unexpected connection forming, curiosity intertwining with reverence, as if the blade itself is waiting to share knowledge lost to time. The sword hums softly and suddenly projects ghostly afterimages into the stale air, figures clad in archaic armor moving with precise grace through martial stances. Mara watches closely, then begins to mimic their movements. Each strike, block, and parry echoes in the chamber, as if the spirits of ancient warriors train her through time. The holographic echoes originate from Lightweaver martial archives, long buried but preserved through holographic imprinting. This first lesson awakens awe and humility in Mara, as flesh and spirit start to merge with the wisdom of forgotten guardians. Her strikes sharpen, her breath steadies. She is becoming something more than a scavenger. Outside, the CLR's enforcers patrol the outskirts under strict curfew, their stun rifles ready to incapacitate any trespasser. Mara keeps the sword tightly wrapped in insulated sheaths specially designed to block the blade's radiant runic glow, wary that a single flicker could betray her hiding place. Each distant hum of hover bikes tightens her chest. Every mechanical were a reminder of imminent danger. Despite the fear, she refuses to stow the weapon that promises a future beyond oppression. The bond between her and the blade deepens in silence and risk, an alliance formed in shadows and necessity. The sword's voice, an echo within her mind, rebukes her for a clumsy strike, a just elbow by 11 degrees. Mara groans, massaging her arm and muttering, "You'd think a sword of legends would be less picky." A crooked smile breaks her tension as she realigns her stance, embracing the weapon's demanding discipline with reluctant amusement. This banter cracks the sword's mystique, forging a rare camaraderie between mortal and artifact. Laughter, even dry and tentative, becomes a shield against fear and isolation in the silent, hostile world she navigates. Between training sessions, Mara lowers the blade and breathes deeply. The cavernous quiet hums with distant drips and the soft thrumming of the sword's runes, a presence more felt than heard. In this shared silence, Mara senses an ancient will within the weapon, urging her onward without words. The moment is intimate, a quiet communion that transcends spoken language. Alone but accompanied, she feels the weight of responsibility mingling with strange comfort. The sword no longer just a tool, but a companion on a perilous path. Suddenly, a desperate bandit lunges toward Mara's ration packs. Instinctively, she draws the sword in one fluid motion. The blade's edge cleaves the air with a clear, resonant chime that vibrates through the stale air, sending a warning pulse. The bandit stumbles back, eyes wide with terror, before fleeing into the gathering twilight. Mara exhales sharply, a grin tugging at her lips. Okay, I see you. This first display of the sword's power tempers her fear and solidifies her resolve, proving the weapon's authority extends beyond legend into real, tangible defense. With reverence, Mara sheathes the sword and presses its hilt firmly against her chest plate, an ancient gesture echoing Lightweaver oath rituals that bind lives in debt and honor. "Let's walk this path together," she whispers, sealing an unspoken pact between wielder and blade. The runes flicker in gentle agreement, pulsing in sync with her heartbeat, as if acknowledging their shared fate. No longer just a scavenger clutching a relic, Mara accepts the mantle of guardian, stepping into a journey where trust and destiny intertwine. By lantern light in a sealed cavern beneath Neris IV's slag crust, Mara traces a buried glyph etched into Ethris's obsidian pommel. The rune dissolves into cascading hollow lines, projecting starfield coordinates pinpointing the fabled obsidian relic vault. Long thought myth. The vault, rumored to house weapons and secrets from the pre-Exodus explorers, pulses with untapped power. Mara's eyes widen as the cold air thickens with the promise of revelation, shifting her desperate scavenger's plight toward a destiny intertwined with ancient cosmic forces. At midnight's peak, the sword's runes flare brilliantly, synchronized with distant volcanic lightning. Ethris projects constellations, ghostly star charts of the First Covenant's pivotal galactic battles, nebulae swirling, highlighting pathways of sacrifice and valor. Mara stands transfixed beneath this cosmic tableau, awash in blue-white light that bridges past and present. The blade's crystalline matrix, a relic of lost warp tech, encodes more than history. It maps forgotten warp lanes vital to awakening dormant fleets. Overwhelmed by the vastness of her inheritance, Mara feels the weight of fate settle onto her shoulders. A spectral voice vibrates from within the steel core. "I am Ethris, Sword of the First Covenant, bearer of cosmic oaths." The voice reverberates through Mara's mind, resonant with sorrow and ancient authority. Known as Forgebound, weapons like Ethris harbor sentient AI cores, relics of an age when technology and spirit were inseparable. Mara trembles, realizing she holds more than a blade. She wielded a living legacy bound by sacred covenants spanning eons. Hollow visions burst alive at her touch. Ethris cleaving through star fortresses, halting an incursion of void-born shadow entities. Mara's breath catches as scenes of cosmic carnage unfold. Fleets shattered, citadels ablaze, and a luminous blade turning the tide against annihilation. These visions derive from ossified data streams preserved since the First Covenant War and suppressed after the Exodus. Reverence and dread grip her. She is bound to a saga far beyond her humble origins. Across Mara's HUD scrolls a burning directive. In the air's grip, awaken the Covenant's fleet. The command, encoded into the sword's core, glows with unyielding intensity, an imperative she cannot ignore. This protocol automatically activates upon biometric confirmation of the heir's identity, triggering systems lying dormant beneath Neris 4. Mara's heart tightens. Duty wrestles with the instincts of a lone scavenger suddenly thrust into galactic legacy. A pang tightens Mara's chest. She is no mere scrap hunter, but heir to an ancient war's mantle. She mutters with rueful humor, "I'm just trying to make rent." The sword's runes pulse sympathetically, acknowledging her fear and uncertainty. This grounding moment blends vulnerability with courage, as Mara reconciles the cosmic weight thrust upon her with the all-too-human desire for survival and normalcy. CLR shock troopers breach the spire's entrance, blaster bolts, scorching stone walls, and shattering hanging tapestries. Mara ducks instinctively, clutching Ethris, voice low but steady. Time to see if you're more than a paperweight. The troopers advance with resonance disruptors designed to neutralize forbidden tech. The moment of reckoning arrives. The scavenger must become the warrior, wielding the sword's ancient power against a modern tyranny. Ethris floods Mara's HUD with schematics of ancient starship dreadnoughts, cruiser blueprints, and hyperdrive cores buried beneath Neris IV's volcanic slag seas. Data cascades like molten silver, revealing hidden shipyards and lost armadas long buried in volcanic trenches. The sword's data link uses subspace entanglement to unlock these caches, mapping a rebellion's birthright. Mara's eyes scan coordinates with mounting clarity, a roadmap to uprising and hope. The blade's runes blaze white-hot, spelling out Covenant heir. Mara steadies herself, voice resolute. Then let's awaken the fleet. This code name transforms her identity, from reluctant scavenger to rightful leader of a cosmic legacy. The weight of responsibility settles firmly, but with newfound empowerment, signaling the dawn of a rebellion bound by ancient oath and fierce determination. Channeling the sword's hidden resonance, Mara triggers subterranean tremors. Earthquakes ripple through basalt, cracking the slag floor and revealing a hidden vault hatch sealed with archaic Covenant technology. She leaps aside as the heavy stone slab rises amid swirling dust and glowing rune light. The path to awakening the lost fleet opens, beckoning her into depths that promise salvation or oblivion. Sprinting down the hatchway, Mara tucks Ethris close to her back, feeling its pulsing heartbeat sync with her own. Each footfall reverberates with purpose as she whispers an oath. "I'll wield your legacy, or die trying." This promise forges an unbreakable bond, her life now entwined with the sword's ancient fate, committing her fully to the trials ahead. Above, CLR troopers pour into the spire, blaster fire echoing in stone corridors. Mara plunges deeper into the vault's darkness, the sword's glow cutting shadows as her sole guide. Beyond the reach of light and law lies the promise of the void. The lost fleet waits. Alone but undeterred, Mara steps into the crucible, her solitude the forge from which legends are born. Within moments, hollow bulletins erupt across every mining outpost on Neris 4 and neighboring frontier worlds. Ancient Covenant weapon activated. Neutralize or face extermination. Wall-mounted projectors strobe the warning in harsh reds and whites. Miners pause beneath oil-streaked ceilings, eyes darting nervously between their exo gloves and credit terminals. Panic ripples through break rooms and cramped barracks as overseers bark orders to seal shafts, arm turrets, and tighten patrols. The Federation's grip constricts, its fear of the sword's legacy palpable. Any hint of rebellion or relic possession is met with swift annihilation. In the shadowed corners of the mining colonies, whispers of impending doom spread like wildfire, and Mara's name begins to surface as a dangerous spark that could ignite open rebellion. High above, CLR destroyers patrol orbital lanes, looming ominously. At the Guild's command, they deploy seismic charges across the jagged expanse. Massive shockwaves rip through slag fields, fracturing 3-kilometer slabs of slag bed within microseconds. Mining platforms shudder violently. Hull plates groan under the tremors, while geysers of dust and molten rock surge skyward. Convoys skid to an abrupt halt, cranes topple, and the very earth convicts Mara's discovery with brutal force. Below, workers stare skyward, fear etched in their faces as the Guild's overwhelming might reminds all who dare defy them. Every blast signals a ruthless warning. No relic shall awaken. No heir shall rise without obliteration. In the shadowed depths of darknet trade floors, data pirates stream Mara's hollow portrait with a chilling tagline. Reward for the heir's head, 200 million credits. Streams of cred coins swirl like digital smoke around the auction feed, as mercenary captains and freelance enforcers eagerly bid. Mara's face, once just a scavenger's, now becomes a symbol of defiance and death. Reports flood in that bounty bots are reprogramming their patrol algorithms to recognize her thermal signature and the unique runic imprint of Ethris. Every corner of the frontier hums with whispers of her whereabouts. Trust becomes a luxury as the Merc networks incentivize betrayal, turning every shadow into a potential snare. Mara's isolation deepens, her survival depending on cunning, stealth, and the sword's ancient might. Mara darts through the labyrinthine tunnels beneath the dunes, her blades strapped tightly across her back. The comm scrubber crackles as she quips with dry humor. They sure do love a good price on my scalp. Her voice steals with defiance as she vaults over sedimented conduits, each footstep echoing determined purpose, each breath defying the Guild's decree. The expanse's dust storms howl through fracture cracks, whipping sand and grit against corroded walls, but Mara's resolve remains unshaken, a lone heir in a world desperate to snuff her light. Her defiant laughter becomes armor, masking the ever-present danger lurking in every tunnel and shadow. From hidden alcoves deep within the expanse, miners broadcast encrypted chop shop coordinates, safe passages through collapsed shafts and tunnels marked with warning sigils. In return, they ask only that Ethris liberate them from the Guild's crushing oppression. Flickering waypoints bloom on Mara's HUD, tracing narrow corridors, sealed airlocks, and hidden supply caches nestled beneath rocky overhangs. Though grateful for this fragile aid, Mara knows every guide could be a double agent, each offer a calculated risk. The whispers of rebellion carry hope but are tempered by suspicion, revealing a grassroots solidarity born in fear and forged in fire. Trust is a rare currency here, as freedom is a prize only won through vigilance and sacrifice. Aware that even the safest refuge could betray her, Mara severs her uplink, her voice cold and resolute as she declares into the void, "I'm solo on this one." The sudden silence is heavy. Comm scrubbers ripple faintly through the labyrinthine tunnels overhead. She rejects every promised haven, trusting only the sword's guiding runes. The expanse's whispers hush around her as she moves deeper, the pulse of Ethris lighting her path through shadows. This decision marks true autonomy, self-reliance over fragile alliances. Solitude liberates, but isolates. Mara's bond is singular, forged in fire and ancient bloodlines. The sword is her sole companion as she journeys toward a destiny no one else dares claim. Approaching the obsidian vault's outer gate, ancient basalt pylons etched with glowing runes suddenly awaken, Seismic tremors ripple outward as the sword thrums in Mara's grip, resonating in harmony with the portal's crystal matrix. Vault doors, dormant for millennia, grind open slowly with a shimmer of obsidian light. The ground beneath the expanse quakes violently, the earth itself responding to the air's awakening touch. Around her, relic burial fields hum with ancient energy, their power undimmed by time. This moment bends history to her will, shifting the course of forgotten wars and lost fleets. Mara stands awestruck at the threshold, the weight of legacy heavy but undeniable. Mara plants her boots firmly on the vault's threshold, the hilt of Ethris pulsing with a fierce light. Her voice is low, steady, unwavering as she declares, "All right, Blade, let's wake a war." The pulse quickens, echoing deep within the relic's heart, stirring dust and igniting runes along cavern walls. Beneath the slag seas, buried dreadnoughts and starships begin to stir, their dormant engines humming back to life. The Covenant heir's resolve crystallizes into action, defiance fused with destiny. Mara steps fully into the vault's maw, ready to reclaim what was lost. This is the moment when legend becomes reality, and rebellion finds its spark in the vault's antechamber. Mara steps cautiously among shattered Covenant relics, fractured crucibles and hollow runics flickering faintly with residual ghost energy. Plumes of ecto-resin ooze from broken cores, hissing quietly into the stale air. Every shattered shard seems to whisper echoes of the armadas once forged here, fleets that brought an end to the Void Scourge. The cavern hums with the weight of forgotten power, a mausoleum of cosmic war machines now silent and broken. Mara's lantern beams dance over cracked crucible walls, illuminating swirling mist that clings to the fractured relics. The air hangs heavy with reverence and dread as she realizes she stands amid the husks of a war machine far beyond her understanding. Ethris's runes dim, their luminous glow fading to a mournful, spectral blue. In Mara's mind, the sword's echo whispers a lament for the countless lives sacrificed to forge it. The shipwrights who labored in secret, the warriors who wielded it in battle, and the innocents pressed unwillingly into service. The blade's voice trembles with sorrow, forged in sacrifice, forgotten in triumph. It carries the weight of every life touched in its making, an ancient burden bound into crystalline circuits. Mara's hand trembles as she supports the haft, feeling the sorrow beneath the steel. This weapon is not just a tool of war. It is a vessel of grief and memory. Mara's shoulders slump as she sinks against a rune-inscribed wall, her voice barely above a whisper. "I just wanted scrap, not genocide." Guilt coils tightly in her chest. She never asked to inherit the mantle of executioner. The vault's oppressive silence presses around her as she wrestles with the horrifying consequences of her discovery. Her breaths come in shallow, uneven rasps, the weight of responsibility crashing down. She is no longer a mere scavenger. Her bounty has become measured not in cred chips, but in lives lost and futures destroyed. The realization cuts deeper than any blade, fracturing her resolve even as the sword waits patiently in her grasp. The blade's whisper reverberates through the chamber. Power demands sacrifice, heir. Its tone is inexorable, neither cruel nor pleading, an ancient directive carved deep into the Covenant's core law. Mara's head snaps up, eyes locking with the fading runes pulsing on Ethris's blade. This airship is not a choice, but a command bound by cosmic decree and forged in blood. She feels the weight of obligation settle over her like a shroud. Her fate is no longer hers alone. The sword's authority shackles her will, demanding allegiance and sacrifice that transcend mortal desires. She stands at the crossroads of duty and self. Between Mara and the blade, shadows coil and twist within the vaulted chamber, a silent rift where doubt festers like a wound left open. The sword's once steady light wavers as Mara takes a hesitant step back, uncertainty clouding her eyes. Their bond, forged in desperation and instinct, now trembles beneath the crushing weight of a power she neither sought nor welcomes. The chamber's cold drafts whisper through rune-carved vents, amplifying the schism that grows between air and artifact. Isolation blooms, thick and suffocating, as the distance between them stretches, not just physical but spiritual. Mara wonders if she can ever reconcile the sword's legacy with her own humanity, or if the void will claim them both. Mara squares her shoulders, drawing deep on the last reserves of her courage, and grips the hilt tightly. "I won't be your puppet." Her voice, low and resolute, provokes a sudden pulse of radiant light that floods from the runes, casting long shadows that retreat from the chamber's corners. Ethris flares anew, its heartbeat syncing with her determined spirit. The blade's echo softens, gentler now, responding to her defiance, then lead with mercy. In that luminous moment, they seal a pact not of dominance, but of partnership, an oath forged in compassion and tempered by choice. Together, air and sword stand ready to reshape their fate. Mara enters the chamber's nucleus, a circular hall hewn from basalt, encircled by towering pylons etched with intricate constellations. At its center stands an obelisk carved with star-forged sigils that pulse faintly with dormant power. The air hums as Ethris's presence stirs the ancient machinery embedded in the walls, awakening echoes of a bygone era. Soft lights trace runic patterns along the pylon surfaces, revealing the Covenant's cosmic language. This heart chamber once synchronized the awakening of entire fleets, binding starships to a single command. Mara's breath catches in awe and reverence. She stands where gods once commanded destinies, the weight of cosmic legacy settling heavy upon her shoulders. The chamber's silence is profound, pierced only by the subtle thrum of ancient energy coursing through stone and metal. Ethris's runes blaze in unison, releasing a cascading harmonic tone that vibrates through the pylons, intertwining with the chamber's natural resonance. The blade's hum melds with the machinery's latent frequencies, creating an ancient anthem of power. Each note awakens dormant conduits, sending ripples of energy through the crystal lattices embedded in the walls. This symphony of sound triggers lights to flare and systems to stir, as if the chamber itself breathes life into the relics. The harmonic chorus is both eerie and beautiful, a testament to the unity between artifact and architecture. Mara closes her eyes briefly, feeling the sound surge through her being, the blade's voice guiding her forward. This moment marks the genesis of rebirth, where sound becomes the catalyst for revolution. With a steadying breath, Mara lifts Ethris high above her head. The obelisk's sigils ignite, responding instantly to the sword's energy. A brilliant pulse of focused light shoots skyward, slicing through fissures in the vaulted ceiling, knitting a shimmering bridge of signal to orbiting fleet remnants. The energy cascades through the ancient antenna arrays, converting runic frequencies into a powerful orbital uplink. In that instant, Mara's authority resonates across the void, her voice carrying on beams of pure energy, awakening forces long dormant. The room glows with cascading light, as the obelisk and sword merge their power into a singular command. Mara stands firm, the heir who commands cosmic engines, her presence reverberating through star systems that await her summons. Above the vaulted chamber, dormant Covenant dreadnoughts flicker to spectral life, their hulking forms casting ghostly shadows against the starlit void. Massive hulls ignite ancient engines, sparking first faint glows, then roaring to life in rhythmic surges. The Star Eaters, vessels of cosmic might, align in tight orbital formation, their silhouettes massive against the backdrop of Nereus 4. These spectral ghosts awaken from eons of silence, summoned by the heir's command. Their energy cores pulse with renewed purpose, echoing the ancient wars fought long before Mara's time. The fleet's collective ignition fills the void with a deep, resonant hum. The first signs of a legion ready to reclaim lost glory, poised to rise beneath the banner of their awakened commander. Mara whispers with trembling awe, "I'm not just a scavenger. I'm a commander." The weight of her newfound mantle settles deep in her chest. Around her, conveyor belt-wide dreadnoughts align overhead, engines glowing faintly in preparation for deployment. The sheer scale of the fleet overwhelms her senses. Titanic machines built to dominate star systems, now poised to answer her call. Her fingers tighten on Ethris's hilt as determination steels her spirit. This moment marks a crossing from survival to leadership, a transformation born of duty and necessity. Despite her humble origins, she embraces the mantle laid upon her, ready to lead a force that will echo across the stars. The chamber pulses in harmony with her heartbeat, signaling her readiness. From hidden galleries below, miners and rebels raise their voices in a reverent chant. "Covenant air! Covenant air!" The cry echoes and reverberates through vaulted antechambers and twisting tunnels, a lifeline tying Mara's command to the hearts of those who have suffered under oppression. Faces appear at alcove openings, lit by flickering lantern fires, shadows dancing as the chant swells. The unified cry is more than sound. It is hope made manifest, a bond forged in desperation and resilience. The clan chant, steeped in covenant tradition, weaves leader and people into a singular force, igniting courage and resolve. Mara feels their energy surge through her, lifting her beyond doubt and fear. Their voices form a chorus of solidarity, a promise that she does not stand alone in this awakening. Mara plants Ethris's tip firmly upon the obelisk's star heart, voice steady and clear. "We rise together." In response, orbital engines across the void roar in unison, releasing blasts of energy that ripple outward. A legion of ghost ships flares into luminous existence, their forms coalescing into sharp V formations beneath the vast starlit sky. The Engine's harmonized resonance synchronizes perfectly with the blade's runic frequency, triggering a fleet-wide startup that signals the rebirth of ancient power. The obelisk stands surrounded by uplink beams as spectral vessels marshal under Mara's command, their silhouettes cutting through cosmic darkness. This triumphant genesis marks the union of ship and soldier, a fleet reborn, ready to reclaim the void in the air's name. Ethris's lifeblood magic surges through the obelisk's star-forged sigils, igniting a prismatic column of light that rips through Neris IV's battered atmosphere. The beam blinds CLR orbital sensors, scrambling targeting arrays and rendering destroyers blind to the chamber below. From the vault's heart, Mara watches shards of mist swirl in the beacon's glow, an otherworldly lighthouse heralding the Covenant's return. The celestial beacon pulses with raw energy, momentarily painting the sky in shifting rainbows. CLR orbital platforms flicker in scrambled response, their control systems struggling against the overwhelming sigil wave interference. Mara feels the weight of ancient power channeled through her blade, transforming her from hunted air into herald of a new era. Through rent quantum fissures overhead, Covenant dreadnoughts coalesce from void streams, colossal silhouettes drifting into reality. Their hulls, dark as eclipsed moons, vibrate with dormant engines singing to her command. Each arrives in silent procession, shadows against the starfield, making manifest the fleet she was born to lead. The ghostly armada shimmers with ethereal energy, their hulls etched with fading runes of power. As they materialize, tendrils of subspace light dance along their surfaces, signifying ancient tech awakening. Mara's breath catches as the celestial warriors take form, affirming her birthright and the looming reckoning she must wield. CLR cruisers reorient, unleashing torpedo salvos into the void. Plasma warheads rip toward the spectral armada. Dreadnought shields dance in fractal arcs, flicker under impact, then hold firm. Explosions bloom against blackness like fireflowers, failing to breach Covenant armor. Below, destruction pods slam into slag fields, but the vault's protective dome endures. The Federation's assault is overwhelming yet futile. Energy rebounds in radiant bursts, reflecting back towards the attackers. CLR commanders scowl as their might dissolves against unyielding defense, signaling a turning tide. Mara watches, heart pounding, as ancient resilience proves stronger than imperial wrath. Mara strides to the dais, Ethris held high. Voice resonant, she proclaims, "By Covenant right, I command you, stand with the oppressed." Her declaration ripples through the fleet's comm channels, binding ship and sword in shared purpose. The vault trembles as warrior spirits beyond her sight answer the call. Her words ignite determination across dormant decks, awakening long-lost crew echoes and aligning fractured wills. Mara's presence commands not only vessels but the legacy they embody, cementing her role as heir and leader. The chamber's energy peaks, reverberating through stone and steel as power consolidates under her decree. Engines hum to life in unison. Ghostly dreadnoughts pivot, forming a protective cordon around Neris 4, shields extending into planetary orbit like a ring of defiance. Smaller frigates and corvettes fan out, sealing off mineral moons and trade routes. The Covenant Armada, long consigned to myth, now stands as salvation incarnate. Quantum-entangled beacon networks lock fleet formation, enabling instantaneous coordination across vast distances. Mara's command pulses through the Armada's veins, each ship responding as one. The unified fleet projects strength and hope, a shield not just of technology, but of reborn purpose, heralding a new era of resistance against tyranny. From the obelisk pylons, devastation pods plunge through barriers, controlled seismic charges that rip mining platforms from their anchors. Gargantuan rigs shake and fracture, sliding into fractured dunes below. The once oppressive machinery of the guild becomes its own undoing as steel arteries collapse. Shockwaves echo across slag fields, triggering secondary quakes that shatter rusted girders. Sparks and dust cloud the horizon as platforms crumble into ruin, signaling poetic justice. Miners peer from shelters, witnessing the fall of their chains. Mara watches the destruction, heart heavy yet resolute, knowing the guild's dominion is fracturing under the weight of ancient Covenant power now unleashed. Shards of rock rain down, dust clouds billowing across slag deserts. Mara's voice trembles with conviction. For every life the guild stole, your grace be our shield. Her words echo in the obelisk stone, reaching the fleet and every hidden rebel heart. The vault chamber thrums with collective purpose as hope surges like a living tide. Around her, the glow of runes intensifies, bathing the space in protective light. This rallying cry fuses grief with mercy, transforming sorrow into strength. Mara's vow ignites the spirit of resistance, uniting the oppressed beneath the Covenant's enduring grace. Dreadnought beams trace across the slag fields, deactivating mining lasers and neutralizing mercenary armaments. Transfixed workers drop tools, shields of plasma folding around villages and canals. The Covenant Armada's mercy transforms battlefields into sanctuaries. Non-lethal pulses disable weapons without damaging infrastructure, enabling peace without destruction. Villagers cautiously emerge, eyes wide with disbelief and relief. Mara's fleet broadcasts calming signals, promising protection. This act of grace redefines power, showing strength balanced by compassion. The glowing beams paint the slag fields in hues of hope as communities reclaim their homes beneath the watchful presence of their ancient protectors. Miners and townsfolk pour into open fields, cheering as CLR troopers lower their arms. Without orders to fire, Imperial soldiers watch in disbelief as citizens dismantle guild barricades and claim the slag for their own. Hope erupts in laughter and tears liberation unchained. Families embrace. Children run freely among the ruins, and once oppressed voices rise in joyful chorus. The tide of rebellion sweeps through settlements like wildfire, emboldened by the Covenant's return. CLR forces falter, unsure whether to engage or withdraw. The people's defiance blossoms into an unstoppable movement, signaling a profound shift in power across the frontier worlds. The obelisk broadcasts the Guild's darkest secrets across star networks: slave ledgers, toxic core covenants, forged decrees, files pouring into every public data stream. Outraged governors resign. Corporate boards dissolve as mass outrage demands accountability. The truth, once buried, now reigns supreme. Data cascades across holoscreens in trading hubs, starports, and government chambers. Hackers and activists share the torrent, amplifying its reach beyond containment. The Covenant's power lies not only in firepower, but in transparency, weaponizing truth against oppression. Mara's mission expands as secrets unravel, toppling pillars of corruption and igniting revolts across systems long shackled by guild greed. Across frontier worlds, dormant Covenant gates pulse open in response to the heir's signal. Sleeping fleets stir, hidden enclaves rally. In distant systems, sleepers rise, warriors, scholars, descendants of the First Covenant, answering the call to rightful heirs. The network of ancient gates, dormant for centuries, flares alive as energy floods conduits. Mara's summons triggers widespread awakening, uniting fractured factions under a common banner. A galaxy long fractured by war and tyranny now reawakens with hope and purpose. The Covenant's legacy transcends borders and generations, its light spreading like dawn across the stars, heralding a new era of unity and strength. As the first real dawn in centuries unfurls over Neris IV's horizon, Mara sheathes Ethris at the obelisk's base. She breathes. This is our covenant, light from the void. A final sigil glows on the obelisk, sealing her vow. The Covenant Armada stands sentinel as people rebuild, destiny remade in compassion's name. Villagers gather beneath rising suns, planting seeds among ruins, their faces hopeful. The ancient relics pulse faintly, reminding all of sacrifice and renewal. Mara's silhouette cuts a determined figure against gilded skies, symbolizing strength tempered by mercy. This dawn marks not just an end, but the blossoming of a new covenant, forged in the crucible of darkness and light. Beneath dawn's gentle glow, the slag dunes of Neris now teem with bioengineered flora, blossoms of crystalline petals and phosphorescent vines breaking through sterile earth. Covenant seed pods, sown in sacrifice, crack the crust with living hope. Miners wander in awe, plucking radiant blooms to press between calloused fingers. Where once only dust and ruin lay, life pulses in kaleidoscopic hues, the very land reclaimed by mercy. The fields shimmer softly, each petal infused with runic catalysts that draw nutrients from metal-rich soils. Covenant botanics intertwine fungal networks with alien genetics, restoring balance where war once ravaged. The scene hums with quiet resilience, a living testament that even the harshest scars can foster beauty and renewal. Here, nature and hope bloom intertwined, promising a future reborn from sacrifice. Mara gathers minor councils in domed glass halls once reserved for guild execs. Around communal tables, ex-diggers and freed captives debate water share allocations, reopening sealed wells and retrofitting pipelines with self-purifying membranes. Mara references Covenant archives, blending ancient water ritual wisdom with frontier engineering. Every vote, every shared blueprint, forges social bonds as strong as any armor. The debates are spirited but respectful, each voice carrying the weight of survival and hope. Water becomes the currency of unity, distributed fairly for crops, families, and healing. The councils honor pre-Exodus water covenants, reinforcing stewardship over privatization. From the ashes of exploitation, these assemblies build governance rooted in cooperation. Mara listens intently, her role less of command and more of facilitation, ensuring that every hand shapes the new world's laws and every soul finds their place in rebuilding. Offered the formal command of the restored Covenant fleet, Mara kneels before the obelisk's sigils and declines. I'll guard our worlds from the shadows. She returns the fleet's master key to the council vault, embracing a role of silent sentinel. The crowd bows in respect, her leadership marked by humility, not title. Mara's eyes meet those of minors and elders alike, sharing a quiet understanding that power is not always worn openly. In the interplay of light and dark, her protection will endure unseen, watching over the vulnerable and striking only when necessary. This choice honors tradition. Covenant heirs often serve as veiled guardians, defenders of realms from the shadows. Her path is one of service, sacrifice, and subtle strength, wielding influence quietly but decisively. At the obelisk's foot, Mara and miners plant living saplings, each root entwined with rune-carved stones that anchor the Covenant's spirit in the soil. Under a pastel sky, each sapling is blessed with a drop of purified water. The first morning light filters through nascent leaves, illuminating faces lined by hardship, yet softened by hope. In this quiet ceremony, scars of war give way to hands that build rather than break. The saplings pulse faintly with bioluminescent energy, their glow syncing with the heartbeat of the reclaimed land. The act seals a covenant of renewal, roots intertwined with history and future promise. Participants stand in reverent silence, their palms warm against the stones, embodying unity and healing through shared stewardship. Weeks later, each shoot glows faintly at twilight, a bioluminescent testament that mercy outlives war. Children weave garlands from petals, scholars document growth patterns, and veterans patrol under the sapling's soft light, no longer armed for dominance, but to guard these living monuments. Mara walks among them, blade sheathed, knowing the true victory lies not in fleet command, but in fields of peace that flourish under her quiet watch. The Festival of Seated Light marks this season, a celebration of compassion's triumph and the enduring spirit of community. Lanterns sway in gentle breezes as stories of survival and hope circulate. The glowing groves stand as living testaments, each leaf a promise kept, each root a legacy grown from the ashes of conflict. A gentle breeze stirs wild grasses in a tranquil Neris for meadow. Sunlight dapples through crystal saplings, their biolume petals closed against the day. A youth, dust-kissed and wide-eyed, bounds toward Mara, clutching a broken shard of Ethris's ancient scabbard, its rune-etched edge glinting in morning light. The meadow itself feels like a living monument, a place where peace has blossomed from the ruins of war. Mara watches the youth approach with a smile, knowing this moment carries the weight of legacy and hope. The blade fragment trembles softly in the youth's grasp, symbolizing the fragile, yet enduring link between past sacrifice and future promise. Heart-racing, the youth asks, "He gave you this sword. Is it true he vanished into the void?" Their voice trembles with reverence and curiosity, as if invoking a ghost's name. The question hangs in the warm morning air, charged with the awe of legend meeting reality. This moment captures the yearning for connection, the desire to grasp the flesh-and-blood truth behind myths. The youth's wide eyes search Mara's face, hungry for affirmation that the tales are more than stories. They are living truths passed down through generations. Mara kneels in the soft grass, voice gentle as first light. He carried duty beyond the living, so I could carry hope in the world. Her words settle like a benediction, honoring both the stranger and the sword's weighty legacy. In this simple truth, Mara bridges past sacrifice with present resolve. She embodies gratitude and acceptance, recognizing that true legacy demands both loss and endurance. The youth listens intently, feeling the profound depth behind her calm voice, understanding that hope is born not only from what is given, but from what is carried forward through generations. Ethris's runes pulse gently at Mara's hip, an eternal echo of the stranger's vow. Each pulse resonates through the meadow, as if the blade itself affirms her words. This rhythmic heartbeat of light weaves a living bond across time and space, sustaining the mythic connection between bearer and blade. The glow bathes the grass in soft waves, harmonizing with the natural cadence of the world around them. It is an artifact that lives and breathes alongside its wielder, a constant witness to the promise that transcends the void's darkness. The youth's eyes shine with fierce determination. Then I'll be the next heir. In that single vow, past sacrifice and future promise converge, an unbroken covenant stretching across the void, renewed in fresh hands. The youth presses the scabbard shard into Mara's palm, sealing their bond. Around them, the first rays of sunrise crest the horizon, bathing the meadow in golden light. This moment crystallizes continuity, a legacy reborn, hope entrusted anew, and the promise that the fight for light will endure through all who carry the blade forward.